everyone and welcome to another video from Colour with Claire. Today we're looking at Faber Castell Polychromos skin tones. So this isn't the definitive list of skin tones that you can come up with from Polychromos pencils. This is just some of my go-to skin tone kind of combinations that I use in my colouring. So I thought that I'd share them with you today and it might be helpful for you to use in your coloured pictures. Now this is part of a series and don't worry, you don't have to wait for me to get around to doing all of them at once. As soon as this one is posted, for the Polychromos, there will also be several other videos in the same playlist that will show you skin tones throughout different high-end colouring pencils, for example Prismacolor, Luminance, Black Widow, things like that. So if you go to the link in the description of this video, you will be linked to the playlist, which will have exactly the same video basically, but in different coloured pencil sets. So hopefully that's clear. But for now we'll just get on. So I've ordered them from lightest to dark. You can see that this one here is more of a kind of peachy skin tone with a bit of a tan, a bit of a deep sort of golden brown at the end there. But you can, if you wanted to, leave that one out and just do a kind of pale or fair skin tone. And then they go on like that. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the blend for you in the boxes so you can see it being done. So first of all, we're going to start off with 187 Burnt Ochre. And I am going to zoom you in for this. So just bear with me. Let's come down a little bit and zoom out very slightly and hopefully that's it. Make sure that we're all focused. Yep, so Burnt Ochre we're starting off with. I always go from dark to light when I'm doing my blends. I know an awful lot of people go from light to dark and prefer to do it that way and build up the dark tones, but I do find it a lot easier just to go from dark to light. I don't know, it just seems to layer better for me. That's just the way that I've sort of gone about doing it since I started colouring. So I wouldn't be surprised if you decided to do it the other way around, from ivory to burnt ochre. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. So what I generally do when I'm doing a blend is I start off with quite hard pressure at the beginning, at the start. Just say that this is a flower petal or something, I would start off very deep and hard pressure in the centre of the petal, and then I gently lighten my pressure as I'm going out toward the next colour. So that is Cinnamon, which is number 189, and then I go over the light pressure of the Burnt Ochre because that will blend both colours together. Polychromos are a dream to blend anyway, but it's a good technique for any of your colouring pencil sets to do that. And then as soon as you've put your layer of cinnamon down, or whatever colour it is, you can sort of go over with a medium pressure over that transitional line where it meets the next colour, and that will just serve to blend them both together a little bit better. Now I'm not going to fully burnish them, you can still see some white tooth of the paper, but you can get the idea of the colour blend. Next up is the Light Flesh. So again, I'm going over the light pressure cinnamon and sort of dragging it out. This is just how I do it. I know a lot of people blend using the scumbling method, which is little round circly type things, but I like to do it like this. You know, it's funny, I've had this colouring channel for about, well, I haven't had the channel for 5 years, but I've had my blog for 5 years, and I don't think I've done a proper video, basically, on how I blend, or certainly not for a very, very long time since I've been sort of more into the hobby, so maybe I should do that. It seems very, very basic for me to have left out. Then finally, you've got the Ivory number 105. I'm just quite hard pressure going over where it meets the Light Flesh, and then we can take it right to the end of the box. So as I say, if you want to make it a sort of fair skin colour, you could stick with just the Light Flesh and the Ivory, but this Cinnamon and Burnt Ochre just gives you a little bit more range to do highlights and shadows on cheekbones and things like that. But it really is up to you how you do it. Polychromos do have a light, medium and dark flesh pencil, but I find them way too red to use for skin tone. But again, up to you. So there we go, that's the first skin tone. Hopefully you like it. Second up is the brown ochre, burnt ochre and light yellow ochre, which is just getting a little bit more tan, a bit more bronze. So again, it just depends what you're colouring. If your subject, you know, it depends where they are in the world or what nationality they are or whether they've been on holiday, you know, it just depends. So we're starting off with brown ochre this time, and this is just a 3-colour blend, so I can come out a little bit further with my colours. So you sort of have to gauge with the space that you have. Again, if this was a flower petal, I would gauge how much to put down of each colour so that it would fill up the space. So brown ochre. Again, just going over this end a little bit so it's more deeper. I don't think more deeper is grammatically correct, is it? So it's deeper in tone and ready to transition into the next colour with our light pressure here. So that's the brown ochre. Then we've got the burnt ochre, which we used already on a previous skin tone. So going back in with that. Another really good tip for doing blending is to keep your pencils as sharp as possible, and that is really easy to do with Polychromos because they are quite hard. They have hard leads. They will stay sharp and they will retain their point for quite some time. But it's just much easier to blend, I find, when the pencil is as sharp as you can possibly get it. It seems to go into the tooth better, it just seems to meld with the other colours better. So that's the burnt ochre, and then finally the light yellow ochre. So go over the edge and beautiful blend. It really is very simple to do, as is everything I show you on this channel. You know, I'm not a coloured pencil artist as such. I just use them as to the best of my ability, and I tend to just do things as simply and as quickly as possible. So hopefully it'll be easy enough for you to follow along with. There we go, so that's that one. So a little bit of a bronzed colour there. Next up, we're moving into deeper territory now. We have Caput Mortem, which is a very deep reddish brown. So I'll just grab that one. This is number 169, by the way, and we're looking at a 5-colour blend this time. So I'm going to move you across. Hopefully that's in frame. And here we go. So Caput Mortem. Again, I'm going to gauge how much of each colour to put down because we have a 6cm box here. And it's the same for every single one, so just probably not going to be coming out as far as I did, for example, with the burnt ochre. But again, this is just for the purposes of this demonstration. When you're actually using these colours as skin tones, you won't really need to worry about that because you're not going to be doing it in a box, you're going to be doing it on a face. But again, it's the same rules apply depending on how big the face is that you're colouring, how much room you have to work with, how wide the nose is, or how long the cheekbones are. You will still be working with a limited space in some way. So the gauging rules kind of work wherever you are, whatever you're colouring. So that's that's the Caput Mortem. We've then got the Burnt Sienna, which is number 283. It's not perfectly sharp, but I think we'll be all right. Okay, there we go. So again, really nice seamless blend there. I'm going out of the box a little bit, but that's to be expected with me. Then we've got the Venetian Red. So this is very much a burnt reddish combo. So that's that one, and then making sure it's nice and blended there. This is where I'm using that little bit of scumbling just to burnish it slightly. And then it's the sanguine, which is number 188. So this is not the way that you're generally taught to blend. You're not supposed to do it in linear strokes, but as I say, it's just personal preference really, and it's just the way that I've come to do it over the years. So nice and blended in, and then finally the terracotta, number 186. I love that tone, it's absolutely stunning, that blend. So there we are. Next up, we are going into some browns now. So we have burnt umber, which is number 280. This is a 4-colour blend. But the thing about this one and the next one is that they can actually follow on from each other. So depending on how long a gradient you want to achieve, you can actually use these two as one long blend. And I'll explain that in a second when we get to the next one. Then we've got the nugget, or the nougat if you're posh, 178. So if you're thinking, well, this is all very well and good, blends for skin, but how do we actually colour skin and noses and cheeks and lips and all the other features of the face? I do have quite a few different videos on my channel of how to colour skin tone. If you just type skin tone into my channel search box, there'll be quite a few different videos of how to colour features of the face and things like that. So don't worry, I'm not just leaving you out in the lurch. Then we've got Bistra or Bista. It's funny little names, aren't they? This is 179. So this is a very warm brown skin tone, this one. And then finally, raw umber, which is 180. That's that one. Now finally, we move into the darkest of my skin tones. We're starting with the dark sepia, and when I said that this could follow on to the previous one, so you would go dark sepia, walnut brown, Van Dyke brown, and then to your burnt umber, nugget, bistra, raw umber. So it could be a really long blend. They'll all go really nicely together. So starting off with the dark sepia, 3-colour blend, so we've got a little bit more room to drag this out. Now this is a very, very, very dark brown. It's almost black, but not quite. So we can drag that out to about there if you split it into thirds, roughly. Remembering that you will be overlapping to about here with the next colour anyway. Then it's the walnut brown, number 177. finally the Van Dyke Brown number 176. Okay, so that is all of our skin tones done. I'll zoom you out so you can see the whole thing. Let's bring it back into focus, and there we are. So that is my 5 different skin tone blends for the Faber Castell Polychromos, and I really hope that it's going to help you when you come to practicing your skin. I know it's quite a daunting thing colouring people, trying to get that skin tone looking semi-realistic and, you know, right, as it should, but again, it's all about trial and error, so just give it a go. And let me know in the comments if it does help you, because that really, it does spur me on to do more and more videos. You know, if you tell me what I'm doing it's on the right lines. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go to the link in the description for the playlist for all of the skin tones from different coloured pencil sets. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.